Hi, everyone. Welcome to English Daily Talk. I'm Jessica. Today, I want to share a simple story. It is about a bad day that turned into a good one. Sometimes, small moments change everything. Let's begin. Last Monday, I woke up late. My alarm rang, but I didn't hear it. When I finally opened my eyes, the room was bright. "Oh no," I said. "I'm late." I jumped out of bed. I ran to the bathroom. I brushed my teeth too fast. I almost dropped my toothbrush in the sink. I tried to fix my hair, but it looked messy. I didn't have time to make it better. I put on a simple sweater. I grabbed my bag and my keys. I checked my phone. There were many messages from my team. Morning meeting at 9 a.m. Don't be late. Important client today. I looked at the time. 8:37 a.m. The bus stop was 10 minutes away. I ran down the stairs, out the door, and onto the street. Then, it started to rain. I didn't have an umbrella. The rain was not heavy, but it was cold. The wind blew the rain into my face. My sweater got wet. My hair got wet again. I laughed a little and said, "Why today?" I reached the bus stop and checked the schedule. The next bus came in 5 minutes. I waited and looked at the gray sky. My shoes felt wet and my socks felt cold. I felt uncomfortable. I felt tired. Finally, the bus arrived. It was crowded. I found a small space near the door. People were quiet. Some looked sleepy. Some looked unhappy. I tried to calm down. I told myself, "It's okay. You're on the bus now." The bus moved slowly through traffic. I watched raindrops slide down the window. They looked like tiny rivers. For a moment, I just watched the water and tried to breathe. When I arrived at work, it was 9:10 a.m. I walked quickly to the office. I tried to fix my hair with my fingers. I took a deep breath and opened the door. My coworker, Maya, waved. "Hey, you okay?" I smiled a little. "Long morning." I sat at my desk and pressed the power button on my computer. The screen stayed black. I pressed the button again. Still black. I stared at the screen. "Please," I whispered. "Not today." I tried again. Nothing. I felt my face get warm. I felt stress in my shoulders. I thought about the meeting. I thought about the client. I thought, I am not ready. I am not prepared. I am late. I am wet. I am tired. I wanted to cry. I closed my eyes for a second and put my hands on the table. "Okay, Jessica," I said to myself. "Just breathe." I looked around the office. People were busy. Phones rang, keyboards clicked, coffee machines made soft sounds, the normal Monday music of work. My manager walked by and said, "We'll start in 10. Are you okay?" I wanted to say yes, but I also wanted to be honest. So I said, "I had a hard morning. I'll be ready." He nodded and said, "Thanks for telling me." I borrowed a spare laptop from the IT desk. I logged in slowly. The Wi-Fi was not fast. I tried to open my presentation. It took a long time. I stared at the progress bar and whispered, "Move, please." At that moment, I felt small and tired. I felt like the day was against me. But sometimes we feel that way before something kind happens. At lunchtime, I decided to step outside. I needed air. I needed a break. I walked to a small coffee shop near the office. It had soft lights and warm colors. The air smelled like fresh coffee and cinnamon. The sound of cups and quiet music filled the room. There was a line. I stood at the end and tried to relax. I watched the barista. She moved quickly but calmly. She smiled at people. She listened carefully. She said, "No problem. I can fix that. Thank you for waiting." A man in front of me looked upset. He said his drink was wrong. The barista said, "It's okay. I'll make it again." Her voice was gentle. Her smile was real. I felt my body relax a little. Kindness is like warm tea. You feel it inside. When it was my turn, the barista looked at me and smiled. She had kind eyes. She asked, "Rough day?" I laughed softly and said, "Yes, a really bad one." She nodded. "I understand." I ordered a small latte. She made it slowly, carefully, like a small gift. When she gave it to me, she said, "Well, then this one is special. Extra warm, extra sweet." Her smile felt like a small light. I took a sip. It was sweet and creamy. I closed my eyes for a second. I felt the warmth move through me, from my mouth to my chest to my hands. I felt calmer. I sat by the window and watched the rain. It was softer now. People walked by with umbrellas. A child jumped in a small puddle and laughed. The world felt slower, kinder, safer. I told myself, it's okay to rest. I took another sip. I looked around. The cafe was full of small stories. A student reading a book, a woman writing in a notebook, two friends sharing one slice of cake, a man smiling at his phone, maybe reading a message from someone he loves. A thought came to me. There is always a small good moment, even on a bad day. Sometimes you must look for it. Sometimes it finds you. I finished my coffee and felt ready to try again. When I walked back to the office, the rain stopped. The sky was still gray, but it looked softer. The air felt clean. I entered the office. I said hello to Maya. She smiled and whispered, "How are you now?" I said, "Better." Coffee helped. She laughed. Coffee is magic. I tried my computer again, and this time it worked. I almost clapped. I said, "Thank you," to the screen. I opened my presentation and checked my notes. Things were not perfect, but they were possible. The meeting started. I was still nervous, but I spoke slowly and clearly. I looked at people's faces. I remembered to breathe. I tried to be honest when I didn't know something. I said, "Let me check that and get back to you." I was not perfect, but I was present. After the meeting, my manager said, "Good job." I said, "Thank you." He added, "You handled a hard morning well." That sentence felt like a soft blanket. I didn't need a big win. I just needed a small kindness. Back at my desk, Maya appeared with a small box. She said, "You didn't eat much. I brought you lunch. It was a simple salad with fresh bread." I felt a warm wave of gratitude. "You didn't have to," I said. She smiled. I wanted to. We ate together at a small table near the window. We talked about nothing special. A new song, a funny video, a recipe. I noticed how my body relaxed when I laughed. Stress slowly left my shoulders. My bad day was changing, one small kindness at a time. I looked at the sky again. A little sunlight was pushing through the clouds. It was not a bright day, but it was a softer day. Sometimes, soft is enough. In the afternoon, I worked quietly. I answered emails. I helped a teammate with a file. I made a short plan for the rest of the week. I kept my tasks simple, one by one. At 3 p.m., I took a short break. I filled my cup with hot water and a slice of lemon. I stood near the window and watched the street. A woman helped an older man cross the road. A delivery person smiled as he carried a heavy box. Two coworkers shared an umbrella and walked slowly, talking softly. I thought about the morning. I thought about the coffee and the barista. I thought about Maya's smile and my manager's kind words. I realized something important. A day can change when one person chooses kindness, and sometimes that person can be you. I went back to my desk and wrote a short note to the barista. I typed, "Thank you for the extra warm, extra sweet latte today. You changed my day." I saved the note in my phone, and I plan to show it to her next time. At 4:30 p.m., I packed my bag. I put my laptop away. I cleaned my desk. I took a slow breath. I felt calm. I walked outside. The air smelled like rain and leaves. The streets were shiny and wet. The sky was still gray, but there was a pale line of gold near the horizon. I decided to walk to the bus stop slowly. I didn't rush. I didn't check my phone. I just walked. I listened to the soft sounds of the city. My shoes touched small puddles. The water made tiny circles and disappeared. I told myself, today is okay. Today turned good. When I got home, I changed into dry clothes. I made a warm cup of tea with honey. I sat near the window with a small blanket. The room was quiet. I took out my notebook, my gratitude journal. It is a simple notebook. I try to write in it 3 times a week. I write 3 small things I am thankful for. Some days I forget. Some days I write more. That night I wrote, 1. The kind barista who made my coffee, extra warm, extra sweet. 2. Maya's lunch and her smile. 3. A working computer and a manager who said, "You handled it well." I looked at these 3 lines. They looked small on the page, but in my heart, they felt big. I added a 4th line. 4. Myself. For trying again, for breathing, for not giving up. I closed the notebook. I looked outside. The rain had stopped. The sky was dark. A few stars were trying to shine through the clouds. I turned off the light and sat quietly for a minute. I let the day end gently. I told myself, bad days happen, but they can change. You can change them. I felt peaceful.
That was a beautiful story, Jessica. I liked how the day changed slowly. Not with a big event, but with small, kind things.
Yes. I learned that a bad day does not stay bad forever. Maybe it just needs one soft moment to turn.
I also like the line, kindness is like warm tea. You really feel it.
Thanks, Chris. Sometimes when life feels heavy, we think we need a big solution. But many times, a small smile or a simple "it's okay" is enough to move us forward.
That's true. And I think your choices help too. You chose to take a break. You chose to breathe. You chose to notice the good things.
Right? We cannot control the rain, traffic, or broken computers, but we can control our reaction. We can be gentle with ourselves. We can be gentle with others.
Maybe every bad day is just waiting for a small good moment and for someone to notice it.
I love that. Let's help our listeners notice it more often. Repeat after me. Speak slowly and clearly. I had a bad morning, but I kept going. I can take a deep breath and try again. I can be kind to myself. Today can still turn good.
Now try these short answers. How was your day? It started rough, but it got better. How do you feel now? Calmer, more hopeful. What helped you? A small kindness and a warm coffee.
Great job. Tonight, write 3 small good things in your phone or notebook. They can be very simple. A warm drink, a smile from a stranger, a message from a friend, a quiet walk. Do this 3 times this week. You will see your days will start to feel softer. Thank you for listening to English Daily Talk. If this story made you feel lighter, share it with a friend. Maybe you can change their day too.
And remember, a bad day can turn good, sometimes with just one kind moment.
See you next time for another real story in real English. Bye for now.